Well, I'm not the guy that wasted his entire life waiting for it to start.
Why did that?
At least I had something once. I was respected. I was feared. When I walked into a place, people sat up. They sat up straight. They noticed. What'd you ever have? A bar stool that you put that old biddy at and bought her free drinks, and don't think I don't know that you did it on purpose. That was my stool, and nobody sat on that stool because it was Cousin Marv's stool, and that meant something. That meant something.
But he didn't. Ever. It was just a stool.
Sometimes you read a script and you're like, yeah, this can be really good. And sometimes you read a script and it's like, this is good. You know, we just need to surf on this. We can just go in and ride on his waves. And I think for us, it's luxury to work with this kind of material.
I think the whole story is referring to one of those things that are for me, very inspiring and important, is the static character. You know, someone that is trying to live almost invisibly, day by day. Not really live, more like existing, because something happened in his life. And sometimes we always wonder, you know, you can be traumatized. When we think of trauma, we think of victims. But sometimes you can be traumatized because of your own actions, that you become the victim because of yourself. And that was something that I was totally, that was the first thing I felt when I was reading the story, that that's about a man that is the victim of his own capabilities.
Yeah, it takes place in Brooklyn. It's very, you know, it's almost like Brooklyn is a strong character in the movie. But at the same time, the story and the relationships and the character, they're quite universal. You know, it could take place in London or, you know, in maybe not, you know, Reykjavik and Tokyo might be too far, but in a big city, you know what I mean? It's just a small group of people, quite complicated and broken and lonely souls, trying to you know, survive the best they can, and then starting to discover life in a way that they didn't expect, I think.
You know what you're gonna do? You gotta give me 10. What? 10 grand by tomorrow morning.
Who's got $10,000?
Come on. Listen, you want the dog, you give me 10. Simple.
Hey, listen here, pal. You can't come walking into people's lives and expect them to...
Listen. Take it easy. Listen to me. That is life. That's what it is. People like me come along when you're not looking.
I'm very open in my work, you know. I allow everybody to make their thoughts and communicate about, you know, story. And so there was something going on, you know, we had some problems with the dialogues, and I said, Dennis, I think we should rewrite this thing. We need another direction. And we wrote it, you know, on a paper napkin on the sidewalks of Brooklyn during lunchtime.
I love working that way, when it's like, you know, if you have ideas and if you have things that might improve it and make it better, that to work with people that are like-minded and searching. The
tone is, you know, it's so important. The tone consistency is very important for every good film. And for me, I kind of said I want this film to feel as if Frank Capra would have directed Taxi Driver. You know, a story about a man, a loner, an anti-hero, someone who's totally, you know, not like us, a stranger even, you know, strange and stranger. But then with the same kind of almost light tone of the fable. You know, a simple storytelling, and Frank Capra was brilliant in doing so, and that was kind of my reminder for every. Sometimes when I was making when we're doing a scene, I would always check: is this how? Is this how? Yes, it is. And then I knew I had a consistency.
Just a couple of days in Brooklyn, I forgot that I was in, you know, in America, and that I was not in Europe, you know, because that kind of becomes my reality, sort of. But I think it's, you know, it's funny with this one because Michaël Roskam is Belgium, and I'm Swedish, Spanish, Tom Hardy is British, you know, Matthias is Belgium. So it's this group of Europeans doing this film in Brooklyn.
I casted them because I believed in them. They made it happen, and they're wonderful. And I'm just, you know, very, very happy that to see them perform so beautifully and make this film work.